All right, thank you everybody for coming tonight. I think our first order of business is to adjourn from executive session, so if I could get a motion.
Mr. President, I move that we adjourn from executive session.
Could I get a second?
I'll second that.
All right, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. Motion carries. Now we can begin our regular board meeting. Ms. Knight, could you start with roll call?
Jason Pollard.
Here.
Barb Boston.
Here.
Joel Worth.
I think he's coming in a moment.
Kurt Roars.
Here.
And Patty Serrano. Here.
All right, thank you. Please, everyone, let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence after that. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, everybody. All right, next thing we need to do is entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the February 22nd, 2023 board meeting. Could I get a motion?
I move to approve the minutes of the last board meeting.
A second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All right, thank you. Next is payroll and accounts payable vouchers. Could I get a motion?
Mr. President, I move that we approve payroll vouchers and accounts payable.
Could I get a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Could all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Thank you. Mr. Narducci, do we have any correspondence today?
President Olive, there is no correspondence at this time.
All right. Thank you. Next order of business is to let Ms. Ingersoll tell us about the Winter Sports Athletic Championships.
Thank you, President Olive and board members. I would like to introduce, we have two state championships that we would like to recognize. First, we have two wrestlers. One is Trinity Bochal from Basha High School, and then Isabel Munoz from Castile High School. And I believe we have Basha coach Mike Garcia here.
Hello. It's my pleasure to introduce these two state champions from our district, our premier district, starting with Trinity Bushal, who I've had the pleasure of coaching the last 3 years. Trinity just won her second state title for Basha High School. Give a round of applause for that. She finished the year with a 41-1 record, her only loss coming to an out-of-state opponent in California. She's a tremendous student athlete. She sports a 4.58 GPA. Will be attending ASU this coming fall, where she wants a major in biomed and is a future orthopedic surgeon. And it's been a pleasure coaching her. Our next state champion is Isabella Munoz, and Isabella is a three-time, just won her third state championship for Arizona, for Castile High School. She finished the year 28-1. She's looking at several colleges right now and making some visits, although I was in the lobby persuading her to go to ASU, which we're hoping she'll do. Great athlete, great competitor. Both of these girls worked so hard in season and off season, and we are very, very proud of all of their accomplishments. Thank you.
And next, we would like to bring in the Perry Boys Soccer State Champions. And soccer coach is Jason Berg.
So this is a team sport, and I think that having everyone out here kind of represents that. I think everyone contributed in some way to this great run that we had in the final. We upset 3 teams going into playoffs. We were the underdog all 3 times, which was great. Boys persevered. They came together. This is the best group when it comes to being a family. They all like each other. They're all one group. It's pretty amazing. We went to California together. We've had a lot of time together, and these boys are a really special group. There's 13 seniors. I think they're leaving quite a legacy. Perry Boys Soccer.
Thank you very much, guys. Good job.
Great job, congratulations.
Thanks, guys. All right, thank you, folks. Next thing we get to do is to hear our student body president report. First is from Hamilton High School, Hayden Darst.
Sorry, I don't know the correct keys. Control. There we go. Good evening. To reintroduce myself, my name is Hayden Darst. I am the student body president at Hamilton High School. First off, I just want to say congratulations to our new board members. And hello, I haven't met you guys yet. The last time I spoke to you guys was on November 16th. And while 5 months and winter break may sound like a small amount of time for the average school, Hamilton has enough to fill an entire year of presentations. So let's get to it. First off, starting with events. Before winter break, Hamilton Stugo hosted our annual Winter Spirit Week and Assembly. We had record participation from our students, and we had our first glow-in-the-dark assembly since before COVID. It was a huge success. Hamilton Stugo worked really hard on our lighting and figuring out how to glow in the dark our entire gym, and it was really cool. We had a 4 a.m. wake-up call that day, and our hard work paid off, and we put on our best assembly yet. Every year, Link Crew hosts their annual Cocoa and Cram, which you can see at the bottom center. Freshmen had a great time studying for their finals and drinking hot cocoa. Our very own Hamilton Orchestra held their winter concert. They did great and put on an amazing performance. Hamilton Stugo had quite the eventful third quarter so far. In January, 12 Stugo members had the opportunity to attend the Arizona Association of Student Councils state convention. This was the first time in school history we've been able to do that, and we had a great time networking and developing our leadership skills. In early February, we planned and attended the CUSD Student Council Convention at Chandler High School. Everyone had a great time leading elementary students and getting to know other high school student governments. Stugo also had the amazing opportunity to attend the Disneyland Imagination Campus for a leadership retreat. It was an awesome time, and we learned a lot and bonded at Disneyland. Last Friday, we hosted our annual Movie on the Field, and we had a great turnout, and everyone had an awesome time watching Karate Kid. This quarter, we hosted our annual 4.0 awards for our students. We are so proud of all of our students and their accomplishments. Additionally, we also hosted our annual curriculum night for incoming 8th graders, and they all had a great time learning about Hamilton. Now on to athletics. Since the last time we talked, Hamilton has had 2 signing days, and this has brought our count of athletes signing to continue their athletic career to 40 students just this year. One of our 40 athletes, Naomi Beach, was recently named Arizona's Gatorade Player of the Year, and this is the 3rd year in a row that Hamilton has had a statewide honor. Last quarter, our Hamilton badminton and girls golf team were recognized by the city of Chandler for their state championships. Our girls flag football team had the awesome opportunity to play flag football on the field at the Cardinals game. They played during half, and they were interviewed on the Jumbotron. It was an amazing experience for them, and they all had a great time. Continuing with flag football, in February, the AIA received a $100,000 grant for girls flag football. In addition, Hamilton's girls flag football coach, Mr. Stone, was awarded tickets to the Super Bowl. Our winter sports had a great showing this year. Girls basketball had a great season, going 12-6, and had a great run to the semifinals. And boys basketball had a rebuilding year and participated in 18 games. Our wrestling team had a great year also and had sectional champions in both the girls and boys side. Boys and girls soccer also had a great year, girls soccer going 9-3, and they had a good run to the semifinals. Boys soccer went 9-2-1 and tied Perry. But unfortunately, we were cut short in the quarterfinals. Additionally, over winter break, we hosted our annual Arizona Soccer Showcase at Bellbank Park. Last quarter, Hamilton named our tennis complex after legendary coach Phil Gonzalez. He had been at Hamilton for years, and it is a well-deserved honor. Our spring sports have started off strong, and we're looking forward to what they accomplish this year. Now on to some points of pride within Hamilton. Our AP Art students had the amazing opportunity to paint a new mural at Santan Junior High Technology Room. They spent hours on it, and this project will help them earn their Fine Arts Diploma seal. Recently, graphic design students had the amazing opportunity to compete for a few state seal designs. 3 students won this competition, and now the Arizona State Seal of Biliteracy, Personal Finance, and Civic Literacy are designed by Hamilton students. Hamilton Academic Decathlon recently placed first at their regional competition. Art students had the opportunity to lead a booth at the Chandler Innovation Fair, and they had multiple stations, and it was a great success. Another award won was by our engineering club. They were engineering state finalists, and they have had a great year. This year, Hamilton students have long awaited the completion of our new cafeteria. It opened this past month, and students are loving it. Now construction has begun on our main kitchen, and students are excited to see what will be done. Within our school, we make sure everyone stays connected, no matter who they are. We have 3 main Twitter accounts, one for athletics, one for our school, and our student-run student government page. These are all great resources to stay connected. Additionally, we have 2 Instagram accounts, our student-run student government page with over 1,300 followers, and our account for Hammy, our wonderful mascot. I would once again like to recognize my awesome student government. None of our events would be possible without the help of all these amazing people. Additionally, I would like to recognize my advisors for all the hard work they do and to make sure all of this is possible. And additionally, our amazing administration that does so much for our school, and we are so grateful for them. Lastly, I would like to thank my parents for everything they do and always supporting me in what I do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Selena Foe from Perry High School.
Good evening. My name is Selena Foe, and I am the student body president at Perry High School. I am extremely honored and grateful to be back here to speak to Superintendent Narducci, the governing board, as well as the entire school district. Since we last met, there have been a ton of events happening at Perry. In January, Perry Stugo put on their annual talent show. This event showcases the many talents that Perry has on campus. It was a full night of live music and dancing. Each contestant competed to place for a first, second, and third place prize. Later on in January, 12 members from the council were selected to represent Perry at the AASC State Convention in Bullhead City. Before heading to Bullhead City, we attended a Feed My Starving Children shift where we packed around 23 boxes as a group, but packed 133 in total, including everyone else there. The AASC State Convention was 3 full days of high spirits, energy, and sleepless nights. Perry Stugo was able to bring home a few awards: Platinum level for the AASC Service Project Award, which recognizes 76 plus hours of service time, and Platinum level for the AASC Charity Recognition Award, which recognizes over $800 raised for a charity. Just this past month, in February, the CUSD high schools led our annual CUSD convention. This year's theme was Leaders Take Action. All the student councils in the district traveled to the Chandler Center for the Arts in their best costume to show off their school spirit and take the opportunity to learn about different leadership styles. Recently, Perry had our MORP events. This year's theme was MORP at the Disco. We started off with decorating the hallways to excite the students for our disco-themed dance. We had decorated each hallway differently, one being a diner and another being a hallway with records and bands from the 70s to 80s. Then, during the week of MORP, students participated in dressing up to the themed days, showing off their school spirit. During lunches, students visited the spirit tent to play lunch games and win prizes. On Friday, Stego had an early morning setting up for the MORP assembly. At the assembly, we introduced spring sports, played many games, and the junior class officers released the prom theme to the upperclassmen at Perry. Finally, on Saturday, it was time for the disco dance. At the dance, there was a large LED dance floor, multiple disco balls, and various photo opportunities. Students danced the night away, all while confetti was sprayed by the DJ. Over the past school year, the junior class officers have been working extremely hard planning for the 2023 prom. They have just announced that this year's prom theme is the City of Stars, a La La Land themed prom. The prom will be held at Avanson Jackson on April 1st. In club news, Puma Pals held their annual talent show. They invited multiple CUSD schools to come to perform or enjoy the show. With many talents, such as singing, dancing, and piano playing, the crowd was entertained. At the end of the show, Perry Culinary made several treats for all the schools to enjoy. It was a great show. This past quarter has been filled with multiple awards. Coach Rose Escalante was named the City of Chandler 2023 Educator of the Year. Freddie Rodriguez was named the City of Chandler 2023 Student of the Year. And John Prothro was awarded the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Distinguished Citizen Award. And two seniors, Joshua Shunk and Sahir Johan, were named the National Merit Finalists. Lastly, Coach Desiree Haug and Coach John Waltz were named the 2021-2022 NFHS Coach of the Year for Arizona. Back to more club news, Perry High School DECA earned 3 National DECA Awards at the state competition, as well as having 12 students qualify for internationals. PHS DECA will be taking a total of 15 students to the International DECA competition in Orlando, Florida this April. Just this past week, advisor Ms. Kemp and 7 students in Perry's ECE chapter of Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America attended regionals at Basha High School. Students were able to practice their STAR events before heading to State Leadership Conference in Tucson at the end of this month. In early February, HOSA Sports Medicine competed at HOSA's Regions 3 conference. Out of the 24 students that went, we had 16 students qualify for state in their event. These 16 students will be attending the state in Tucson at the end of this month. In athletic news, the winter sports have just come to an end. Girls basketball finished their season in the Open State semifinals. Girls soccer are the 6A state runner-ups. Boys wrestling placed 13th at Division I state. State medalist Max G placed 5th at 106 pounds. Andrew G placed 4th at 113 pounds. And Bo Hall placed 6th at 215 pounds. For girls wrestling, state medalist Ariana M placed 3rd at 165 pounds. Palm is the AIA state runner-up. At Nationals in Florida, they placed 4th in Palm and 6th in Game Day. Spring sports have just begun and are underway. In the past week, we have welcomed home multiple state champion titles. Boys soccer made program history and are the 6A state champions. Cheer is the AIA state champion in show cheer. JV Palm traveled to California for nationals and placed 1st in Palm and Jazz, which led them to take the national champion title back home to Perry. Lastly, this past Saturday, the men's basketball team went against Sunny Slope High School and won by a landslide and brought back another state champion trophy. They made program history and earned back-to-back state champions. And lastly, this past Friday, Perry welcomed home a very relevant Perry alumni, Brock Purdy. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to speaking to you all again. Before I leave, I would like to present a box of cookies that I brought for everyone.
That's awesome. Thank you very much, Selena. Oh, this looks dangerous. Thank you very much. It's cookies.
pass on.
All right. Thank you very much. So our next order of business is to go to our superintendent current events. Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Frank, what's going on?
Thank you, President Olive. We were just commenting that before Hayden leaves, he was just notified that he had a $10,000 scholarship for his leadership from ASU. Is that correct, Mr. Perry?
That's what I got a text
Yeah.
on. I thought it was pretty dang cool.
So it's hot off the press there, so congratulations to you. We're proud. And Selena, yours are coming too, we know that, right? So on February 25th, Chandler Unified and the city of Chandler hosted the Chandler Innovation Fair. This event, are you up you're, okay. I'm going a little faster than that. This event celebrated the exploration of STEM and innovation. Every COSD school took part, and we're going to show a little short video for those that weren't able to be there, but it was a real proud moment for Chandler.
The Chandler Innovation Fair is a celebration of students and what they are able to do. Chandler has 46 campuses, and all 46 are represented here. What I'm hearing is people are having such a great time looking at the booths, walking around, doing the interactive activities. Everybody's just having a great time. It's positive.
And this is a strong collaboration we hold with the city and Renee Sweden, our director in teaching and learning, and has done a great job in Dr. Eggers' department and making sure that all of our schools are represented there. Also, under some additional athletic achievements to celebrate, as Selena had mentioned in her presentation, we want to congratulate Perry High School's boys basketball team. They were unable to be with us here tonight, but they're recognized as the 2023 AIA Open Division state champions. They will be recognized April 12th. The Pumas defeated Sunny Slope High School to repeat as state champions in the Open Division at Veterans Memorial Coliseum this past Saturday night, and the atmosphere was just absolutely amazing from both sides, both Sunny Slope and from our Perry student sections. They were just amazing and just first class on both sides, and I just want to give that shout out to Sunny Slope as well. We also, a few months back, we told you about Perry's senior, Camille Pierre, who was in the running for the 22-23 Arizona Gatorade Girls Basketball Player of the Year. Just hours ago, we learned that she is the Gatorade Player of the Year. There's no nomination in where she is the Player of the Year. Camille averages 24.5 points per game and is a leader on and off the basketball court. Congratulations to Camille. Our Puma Nation and COSD is proud of you. This week is a special week. It's School Social Workers Week. School social workers rise to share hope. They rise to listen. They seek to understand. They provide wisdom and inspiration as they support our students and families. We appreciate all of our social workers that come to Chandler Unified and make a difference. Just this past week, you may have heard that COSD was named favorite public school district in the East Valley for the 2022 school year by Independent News Media. To our families and community members who voted for us, thank you. We are one of the best districts because of you and your children. Also, finally, a reminder that spring break is March 13th through the 27th. I hope everyone finds time to rest and recharge. And while there's much to celebrate, I also want to take a moment to pause and acknowledge that every person's school and work experience is different. So if you are struggling right now with anything, please remember you're not alone. We are a family in Chandler Unified, and families stick together even when times are tough. We have many resources, including lifelines and helplines listed on the Counseling and Social Services website. And although there's no school during spring break, our district offices are open to assist you if needed. That's my report.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Narducci. Next, we get to a presentation on Read on Chandler's Literacy Hub by Joanne Floth and Mr. Bob Rice.
Thank you, President Olive, and governing board members, thank you. Also to Mr. Narducci and the esteemed staff of CUSD. I'm currently the treasurer of Read on Chandler. That's why I'm here tonight. And thank you for the opportunity to let us talk about what's happening with Read on Chandler in the community. And I'm going to do just a couple of minutes of a little bit of history, and I'm turned over to our executive director, Joanne, in just a minute. First of all, we were formed around 2013. Rick Heumann, who was councilman at that time, started a group called Chandler Education Coalition. And out of that came the Read on Chandler organization. And it's a collaboration of city, state, social service agencies, Chandler Unified School District. And in 2015, we joined with the Read on Arizona group to become the Read on Chandler component of that. We're also currently, in the past, I think, 3 or 4 years, we are partners and associated with the Chandler Education Foundation, and they are our fiscal agent and our partner in that, and we even have an office down there at their office. So we'd like to thank them for all the support they've given to us so far as well. So the vision of Read on Chandler is that all children come to school prepared to be successful readers and are reading on grade level by the end of 3rd grade. One of the things that I realized in my time in education is Chandler is a fantastic district, but it can't do it all. And the community can help and support the kids from 0 to 5 in getting them ready for Chandler, for the school district, for kindergarten, so that you don't have to bring kids up to where they should be. And so that's been our focus these past few years. The mission is to engage parents, business community, faith communities, school districts, social services, and all the partners we can, and to convene them to help support the kids that are at risk. We don't view ourselves as the organization that's going to get a big budget and go out and do all this. We believe we're best served by working with partners and focusing all the efforts and that we have in Chandler. Chandler is known for its partnerships around for decades, and so we try to convene as many partners as we can, and Joanne will talk more about that. We're looking at 3 specific areas to focus on: community outreach and awareness, letting the people know what the needs are and why, early learning, school readiness, and family, school, community engagement, and partnerships. So we're kind of working in those 3 areas. The goal then, I'm a metrics kind of guy. So Joanne gets to talk about all the numbers though. I don't get to talk about the numbers, but we really are looking for results, clear results, and our goals are we're looking at this, focusing in the Title I schools and kindergartners with intense interventions that are proven and effective. And at the beginning, we use, been looking at the benchmarks for the district has as kids enter kindergarten. You know, what is the readiness level? And we're using that as our score, how effective are we being? That's where we found the number that only about 30% of the kids in certain areas in 85225, 85224 were coming at the level that the district would like to see them at when they came into kindergarten. Our goal is to flip that number to have 70% of those kids coming ready and prepared for reading. We partner with about everybody we can who has an interest and a stake in this. Here are some of the groups and agencies we're partnering with. Certainly Chandler Unified is one of the key partners, the Chandler Library, the Chandler Care Center, Ascend, Valleywise, the city. The city provides a certain amount of funding for us. Intel, a few years ago, gave us $40,000 as a kind of a startup funds to get us going. So we're partnering with those kind of groups, the business community. With First Things First, with Read on Arizona, Make Way for Books, and Kendallian. These are just a few of the programs that are going currently. It's not just one program that solves all the problems. So we have several programs that have been going, and we're trying to focus them more. We have Make Way for Books Story School, and Joanne's going to talk more about these and kind of the results we're getting. Ready, Set, Kindergarten, Play and Learn, Giggles, Squiggles, and Squirms, my favorite title, and Learning Together. These are key programs that are addressing the 0 to 5 age group in Chandler. Next, I'd like to turn it over to our executive director. Joanne we were very fortunate to have Joanne come in and engage with us. She started out her career as a preschool teacher. She ran several preschools. She was the early childhood coordinator at Central Arizona College. And she was also the executive director of First Things First for 8 years. And she's been with us for 11 years. And let me say frankly that we would not be anywhere near where we are without Joanne's leadership. She has the knowledge, the connections. She has really turned this into something that's making some results. And she'll talk about how we've grown from a few dollars to we've gotten some $1 million grants now to help our kids in these areas. So I'd like to turn it over to Joanne.
Great. Bob, if you could stay there and do the clicker. Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you this evening about some of the great results that we are getting from our work. When Bob says it's been 11 years, those first few years were pretty lean, and we finally feel like we are getting some traction with what we are doing. And one of our largest programs that we are sponsoring is called Make Way for Books. And that is a story school that is happening in many of the elementary schools in CUSD. We have a beautiful, beautiful room at San Marcos Elementary. If you have not been over there to take a look at it, I invite you to take a look. It's just a really heartwarming, wonderful community feel to it. We are also partnering with the Care Center and with ASCEND, the Family Resource Centers within the city of Chandler. As Bob said earlier, the city has really stepped up and been very, very supportive of our work. We realize that CUSD doesn't necessarily have the funding nor the bandwidth to deal with children 0 to 5 years of age. The small amount that you do an excellent, excellent job, and it really is the gold standard for quality programming at the preschool level. However, when we're only reaching a small number of children, there's a lot of work to be done. So that's why we have come in and brought these not alternative, but wonderful programming as well. With our story school, which is the largest one, you can see those numbers. Very, very proud to be able to say that 98% of the parents, after they go through the 11-week session, have gained skills and tools and confidence to support their children's learning. We know at this young age that if we can change parent behavior and engage parents and get them to be their child's first teacher, that we are successful, so that when we see 98%, we feel like that's a pretty effective program. 99% of the families felt even more connected to other families within their community, and as Mr. Narducci said earlier, we want that family feel in our community, and Story School and Giggles, Squiggles, and Squirms and Learning Together and all of those really provide an opportunity to engage that. In looking at the kids, how do they fare? Well, we look at a sample of participating children. 75% of the children who participate in Make Way for Books programming, which is the story school that I was referring to, went on to score above benchmarks, which, as Bob said earlier, we know that about 30% of the kids coming in don't have those skills. So if we can move that needle up to 75%, that's pretty remarkable, absolutely remarkable. Thank you. We've also seen a nice increase in the number of families participating. Going in, we wanted to serve 350 families, but our partners at Make Way for Books reminded us that it just starts with a couple families, and then those families share their messaging and their success with other families. And so you can see in the 21-22 virtual January through April time, we started with 31 families. And that was just at the tail end of COVID, and so Make Way for Books decided to continue with a virtual school. But we felt pretty good that we had 31 families engaged in that. In July through August, we saw a nice increase to 76 families participating. Majority of those were, again, at the San Marcos site. However, when you are looking at going forward, we are in, I believe 7 of the elementary school sites. I think it's coming up on the next slide. But we've seen a 145% increase in the number of families participating. So that's 145 more, hopefully, children that will come to your school district ready and ready to succeed and end up on some of those PowerPoints that the high schoolers were showing you tonight. Play and Learn is another one of our programs. We recognize that about 70% of the children in our community are cared for, not in a for-profit care center or something such as that. They're cared for by family, friends, neighbors, grandmothers, aunties, all of them. And so Candellen has put together a really nice evidence-based program called Play and Learn, in which we are engaging, again, family members, caregivers, if we want to get to those aunts and uncles and grandparents that are working with them, and help them to understand how important these first few years are and some of the things that they can do just in their regular care and that. 91% of the participants made changes to their interactions and the activities they do with children in their care. 59% of the participants' child development and early caregiving knowledge increased following Play and Learn sessions. These really, in the early childhood world, these are really pretty phenomenal percentages, and we are so proud that we've taken the time and chosen the partners that we have, because they really are giving us some great results. Ready, Set, Kindergarten is the program that's going on at the library through the city. It's a 7-week readiness program for 4 and 5-year-olds to undergo before they enter kindergarten. Each week is themed, includes stories, songs, and activities that may sound like a typical preschool program here at CUSD, but again, it's focused on kids that may not have the opportunity to attend a preschool program. The parents and the children, again, are together actively practicing kindergarten readiness skills. We are just on the cusp of being able to provide some good data related to that, how many families are actually participating, how many complete, and being able to assess the knowledge that they're gaining for that. For the 22-23 in our 2 targeted zip codes, we had 75 families attending. We have upcoming sessions at Bologna, Chandler Care Center, Ascend, at the libraries. And so this has been, I think, a real plus for us in that we have encouraged the library to get out of their big building and come to the community, which is a great step, because sometimes some of our residents don't necessarily feel comfortable in accessing that big building. And so the library's coming to them, which is, we're really seeing some great success with that. Danielle Wilson is our outreach specialist, and she also is a literacy specialist that's working for Make Way for Books as well. I asked her to send me some stories about what she sees going on, and I think this one really particularly speaks to the work that you all do in that she is there asking these families or introducing these families to the CUSD community, and sometimes helping them to figure out what school their child might go to in a couple years, or what are some of the choices that they have in sending their kids to CUSD. And so this quote, I think, just really embodies the work that we are doing, that it's really truly a community effort of the school district and the city and all of our community partners. Our champions, we can't go away without talking about that. Councilmember Matt Orlando is actually our chair of our group. He is giving us $10,000 a year dedicated money every single year to support Danielle's work as being an outreach. We've also received a community resources grant from the city for $15,000. Our two biggest ones, and ones that we're most proud of course, are our Make Way for Bookstory School through the Arizona Community Foundation. That was our original project, and we knew that it was going to provide such wonderful results that we actually went with a consortium of 7 read-on communities and received an ESSER grant for $1.021 million. So stay tuned. We are going to be growing, and hopefully you will see us in every single CUSD school. The last I talked to Julie from Make Way for Books, I believe there are many, many other elementary schools coming up. And of course, our CUSD champions. We couldn't have done it without these people: Frank, Barb Mosden, Leo, Heather, Becky, Tony, Katie Kale. The 2 bottom ones are parent liaisons. All of these people, whenever we come to them and have an ask, they're always there and saying, yes, we will support you. We will do whatever we can to help you to be successful. So from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for reaching out into the community and partnering with us as well.
Yeah, I might add that the Make Way for Books organization has been based in Tucson for about 20 years or so.
25.
25 years. They have a huge history down there. Their first move up to this area was up in Glendale. They had a program about 2 years before ours. We heard about them and saw their results. We said, we've got to get them here. And one thing I want to share with you, that their leadership says about the Chandler School District that they have never worked with a school district that's been so open, so willing to help, and so supportive of what they're doing. So that's a testament to the staff and the folks who are working for the kids. So I'd like to say thank you as well. And you can see that Joanne fights for the kids every day. That's why she's in the wheelchair. She's fighting. And anyway, so I guess if you have any minutes.
I want to show, there's a couple more pictures I want to show.
Okay.
These are some of the great kids that have attended some of the programming, and all of these, you can see what at school they were at. Take a look in 10 years, and maybe they will be on those PowerPoints for those high school awards that you saw earlier tonight. They have been just a delight to work with.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Certainly. Thank you,
So,
guys.
obviously you have a budget to hire staff. Are you looking for volunteers?
We are always looking for volunteers. We want to be able to definitely have something for them to do when they volunteer, but yes, we are always looking for volunteers. They can contact me if anybody is interested.
Do you have
and
contact
we will try
information?
to place them.
Do you have contact information you can leave or give?
I'm right there.
Okay, I'll write it down now.
Well, thank you for your work, guys. That's really awesome. Barb?
Actually, I have a question more for our community members who are watching this. And if they are interested in enrolling their child in one of these programs, what is the best way for them to get a hold of you folks? Through that email, readonchandler@gmail.com?
Absolutely.
To get information?
Or they could visit any of the elementary schools within Chandler and be given information as well.
Thank you.
Thanks, Barb.
I just want to offer a thank you for choosing Chandler and for growing the program in Chandler. And many of us had the opportunity to explore the centers, the one at San Marcos especially. It's just a dynamic early literacy experience for parents and kids. Got a chance to talk to the parents, and Barbara, I think you were at that one as well that I attended. Got to talk to parents, and they had learned so much on how to work with their students and just simple rhyming schemes or book awareness and things that developmentally help our kids have a leg up when they come to kindergarten. And I just want to thank you for giving us your time and talents, and Bob, you as well, because we were nowhere like here even as far as 5 years ago. And so I just want to thank you for the attention and for not giving up and for keep fighting, because you're doing some amazing stuff in our communities.
Thank you
Thanks for
very
the
much.
opportunity. Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Next, we get to our citizen comments. So this is the time for the public to comment. Members of the board may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to ARS 38-431.01H, action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to review the matter, responding to any criticism, or scheduling the matter for further consideration and discussion at a later date. Tonight we have two speakers. We'll have time for 3 minutes each. Our first person is Ms. Shim.
Good evening. My name is Dawn Shim. I use they, she pronouns, and I'm with the student group Support Equality Arizona Schools. You've probably seen me around here. I work in a group for LGBTQ and minority equity. Before I start, I really want to reiterate some concerns about the written comment system. So it seems to be down, and that is a problem because there are members and parents and members of the community who want to comment on things that are being discussed in this board who cannot make it, both because of conflicting schedules and because they might have different accommodations. And it's really, really unfortunate that this system is down and you're silencing these people. That really sucks. Next, I want to move on to the fact that we weren't invited to the past mental health forum. We've been up here pretty much every single meeting letting you know about the unique mental health crises that LGBTQ students experience. We told you that through the GLSEN survey, more than 90% of students in Arizona who identify as LGBTQ heard some kind of a slur or a verbal derogatory comment, and that is increasingly impactful on LGBTQ students' mental health, and that is something that you need to take in account for as one of the biggest districts in the state. It's really disappointing that we haven't been invited to this because we are here every single time, and I know that I've given you my contact information, and I know that I've been in email exchanges with you. I don't know how this has happened. Then I want to move on to what I've addressed in the last board meeting and what a lot of members in our community have been concerned about, and that is the Turning Points meeting at Perry High School. Our main concerns about this extend to what was happening at the administrative level, and that we feel that the administrative processes around this were extremely confusing. The speaker that you invited for this actually recently posted a photo with the Sacramento Proud Boys at the March for Life. Now, this in and of itself is pretty concerning that we're inviting a member who posed with the Proud Boys. But the other thing is that these Proud Boys actually disrupted and violently disrupted an event at a UC school in California. Now that's really, really unsafe that you're inviting this kind of a person onto a school ground. It doesn't matter if it's an event or if it's a meeting. It's still incredibly unsafe for our students on campus, whether they had a permission slip to do that or not. It's horrible that you're inviting someone who's affiliated with the Proud Boys. The other thing is that we are concerned about the administrative level being exchanged around this issue. There was a very confusing lack of communication around a lot of students who were interested in going to the event, who may not have been students at the school or who were students at the school, who saw the event advertised online and they were interested in going, and it was just extremely unclear if it was an event or a meeting, and students were turned away at the door. And it just seems like the administrative level around this was extremely confusing for students, and then there was a lot of confusion from students after it who didn't really understand what was going on. That is not a critique of the club. That is not a critique of the material that was exchanged. That's a critique of the level of advertising and the level of information that was put out about the event. That's something that could have been clearly and very easily fixed. That's something that I know that you can do. Lastly, it is just extremely discouraging that one of our school board members was there, Kurt Wars. That just makes me really upset. And I extended an invite for you to come to a GSA
Time
meeting.
has expired.
You said that you were there to observe students, and then you told me that you didn't want to.
All right. Next, we have Crystal Markowski to talk about mental health. Crystal.
Mr. President, members of the board, thank you for the opportunity to share tonight. My name is Crystal Markowski, and I'm a mom of 2 kids in this district. I'm here tonight to ask you to listen to the students, our kids, who are continuing to use their voices to remind all of us that a part of our jobs as grown-ups is to ensure that they have a safe environment in which to learn. Thank you for taking the first step to set up the Mental Health Student Committee and inviting students into the conversation. As those most directly affected by your actions, their voices should be heard in earnest. I would like to urge you not only to ensure that topics for discussion and consideration include LGBTQ students, but also that their voices are heard and directly represented. My sincere hope is that one day we will not have to see a student from Support Equality AZ schools bare their souls before this meeting in our community, because we'll have actually recognized their needs and met them. Thank you.
All right, thank you to all of our public comments. Next, we have consent agenda. Mr. Nardici, can you take us through, well, I guess we're doing it a different way this time.
Yes.
Oh, would you like to make comments?
I have a response. Thank you.
No, nor do I. Consent agenda, can I get a motion to?
I go ahead and start that agenda item. So
Okay.
I request approval of the consent agenda as posted in board docs and on the CUSD website.
Could I get a motion?
I move to approve the consent agenda as posted on board docs.
Thank you. Could I get a second?
I will second.
All right. All those in favor of passing the consent agenda as presented and published on board docs, please say aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you. Next, we have discussion of the approved settlement for Jewel.
President, all of the members of the board, possible action to approve or not approve the proposed settlement related to the Chandler Unified School District versus Jewel Labs Incorporated et al., referenced in agenda item 1.01. We are recommending approval.
Okay, thank you. I think we need to get a motion before we start discussion. Could I get a motion?
I move to approve the district accepting and executing the proposed settlement related to CUSD versus Jewel Labs Incorporated.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion on this item? No? All right. In that case, we'll go ahead and vote on it. All those in favor of approving the proposed settlement as presented, please say aye.
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 All right, thank you. The motion carries. Next, we get to our elementary technologies purchase. Ms. Flannery.
Over here.
All right.
Mr. President, members of the board, request approval to purchase 5,200 student technology devices from Apple for a total cost of $2,739,816.92. The devices will be distributed across the 31 elementary sites. The purchase includes iPads 10.2-inch, protective hard cases with keyboards, professional development for ed tech coaches, Apple Pro services with preloaded image, device management licenses, and warranty. The devices will be distributed to K-1 classrooms to increase engagement of students in small group structures and to provide individualized and small group interventions and extensions in reading, resulting in increased proficiency. The Apple quotes are attached, and the district is requesting approval to purchase the items on the quotes from Apple in the amount of $2,739,816.92, utilizing state contract ADS PO 16098839, which complies with all school district procurement rules.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Flannery. I think we need to get a motion on the table before we can discuss it. Could I get a motion?
I move that we approve the purchase of 5,200 student technology devices from Apple Incorporated for a total cost of $2,739,816.92.
Thank you. Could I get a second?
I'll second that.
All right. Is there any discussion? Mr. Roars.
How many elementary schools do we have, or elementary students do we have in the district?
Over 19,000.
So we're buying 5,200 pads. What about the rest of the kids?
So we are trying to create a refresh cycle. So this year, this upcoming year, 23, 24, we will take care of 2 high schools and K-1, 2. The following year, another grade level. Following year, more junior highs and high schools and additional grade levels. So we're creating a 4-year refresh cycle that will include all of the grade levels.
So every one of our 44,000 students will eventually wind up with one, or?
Yes, that is the plan.
Are they going to be distributed to kids in the lower grades as well, or used in the lower grades as well?
This particular purchase is for kindergarten and first grade.
Okay.
Oh, Ms. Flannery, I have a question as far as like the family liability when we have these devices and our policy around that. I know I've heard some concerns when a device might be damaged or goes missing inadvertently, especially for our younger kids. What can you specify if the policy will stay the same where there's some liability there and the family's financially responsible, or what that would look like?
For K-6, we don't currently have a take-home policy, so it is under supervision of the teacher, and we don't have any concern unless there's negligence or there's something the student did intentionally, then they can work with the principal. That policy that you're referring to is for our 7th through 12th graders that take home their devices and bring them back and forth to school.
So I know there's reasoning behind not holding the policy K through 6, but of course a lot of our families have little ones within the household. So can you clarify just what the liability and responsibility is?
There's an agreement they sign in 712, the parents sign, that talks about the use of it and the responsibility. We offer a device protection plan for $25 that gives a reduced rate if there's accidental or negligent damage, if they lose it, if they break a screen, or there's key damage. And then we have a reduced, if they purchase the protection plan, there's a reduced cost for those supplies. If they choose not to, then it is, if it's not a warranty issue, if it is a accidental or intentional damage, then there's a pricing chart for the supplies for the device.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just to follow up on what she was talking about with, 5,000 or eventually 44,000 of these, they're constantly going to be needing repair, replacement, refurbishment. Is there a budget for that?
Yeah, there is a budget for that. We also, when we purchase, are looking for the refresh plan, and we include a warranty in that purchase to cover wear and tear, basically.
All right. Does anybody else have any other questions about the?
Actually, just to follow up, if we're going to
Yes,
buy
go
one
ahead.
for every student, is there a budget for that as well? Because I calculated about $23 million to do all that.
Yes, I've been working with Lana to develop the refresh cycle and include it in our capital
We
plan.
just do this all at once so we know what the total cost is?
The problem with that is if we do it once, then every 4 years we get hit with a big purchase. So we're trying to cycle it and create a 4-year refresh cycle.
Okay, I just meant the budget, not necessarily buying them all at once.
Yes, and actually, one of the board reports that Mr. Narducci sends out too, there's information, because the capital plan includes not only construction, but it includes technology and buses. And so you're starting to see the budget that we've put together for technology, and we're continuing to improve that and kind of work on that. We're going to use bond dollars and capital dollars. And then we have E-rate dollars, other forms that we've been accessing to upgrade our technology. Again, we're going to come on April the 12th and do a presentation to you. Ms. Flannery is going to do that for you on the 12th to discuss where we're going with technology in the future. And I'll give you, we'll talk about those pieces too on the 12th.
And just to say on the why we're cycling too is because our staff in IT and then the staff in curriculum instruction, special ed, assessment also has to provide professional development. And we want to do that in a methodic and supportive manner. And if we put 44,000 devices out in one time, and we just don't have the supports for that, so we're going to phase it in.
All right. You're all right, Kurt? Are there any other questions? If not, we could entertain a vote. All those in favor of the motion as presented to purchase, or where am I? Sorry. Purchase the Apple 5200 devices, please say aye.
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 All right, thank you. The motion carries. All right, next we have discussion of vehicle fleet. Ms. Berry, could you start us off on that one?
Absolutely. Mr. President, members of the board, after careful review and research, the administration is recommending purchasing buses and white fleet as replacement due to aging and costly repairs, 10 Bluebird 84-passenger buses, 10 Bluebird 48-passenger special education with wheelchair lifts buses, and 6 general education 47-passenger sports and field trips buses will be purchased from Canyon State Bus Sales utilizing Mojave Contract 18F, CSBS 0904. The administration is also recommending purchasing for our supports teams 8 Chevrolet 1,500 long bed pickups with ladder racks to aid the daily operations of support services, and 1 Chevrolet Equinox, I think is how you say it, if I'm saying that right, for federal programs from Courtesy Chevrolet utilizing the Arizona State contract. You can see each of the requirements or quantities are listed below with the type of vehicle, the cost, the need, and then the justification. So it's a total of $6,482,311.93. So tonight, we're recommending approval to purchase 26 vehicles in the amount of $6,100,069.22, utilizing the Mojave contract with Canyon State Bus Sales, and 9 support staff vehicles for $382,242.71, utilizing the Arizona State contract with Courtesy Chevrolet, for a total of $6,482,311.93.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Berry. We need to get a motion on the table in order to discuss. Could I get a motion?
I move that we purchase 26 vehicles and 9 support vehicles utilizing Arizona State contract in the amount of $6,482,311.
Thank you. Could I get a second? Second by Barb. Is there any discussion on these items?
I think the biggest concern, just because of our recent experience and history with the supply chain, my only question is, do we expect a grand delay on this order as well?
Yes, we do. We are actually, our orders that we placed in May of 2021 are still not here.
Exactly.
So, but it's really important to make sure there's only 3 busing companies, Bluebird International and Thomas. And so we're really at their mercy in a sense. As you know, we had to do an increase in the purchase per bus just recently, even based on the purchase order from 2021. But we really need the buses. So we're going to make sure we're still in line to get the next set of buses, because if we just wait, it's still going to take a chunk of time. It always took 6 to 8 months to begin with, but now it is a year and a half, 2 years before we get those buses.
Well.
A white fleet's a really big problem too, just so you know. White fleet, as we've all probably experienced looking for vehicles, white fleet has been a huge issue too. Trying to find white fleet all over the country right now, especially in our box trucks and some of the other things that we're trying to order too.
Barb?
I do see on here that the model year is a 2025 for 2 of the buses. And so we're definitely doing this in advance. And obviously, we are not going to be insulated then from price increases during this time, are we?
No, unfortunately, like they did it the last time, with the clause that they have, they can also, we had the choice of not getting the buses or accepting the increase.
Okay. And then for our white fleet, I see that these are 2023s, but which is actually, I believe in the Chevy lines, they start coming out with the new ones in the fall of this year. So do we expect to see delivery on these before the fall?
We do. And I think, Tom, I'm not sure when we exactly have. Do we have a time frame of when the Chevrolet trucks will come in?
We don't have a time frame, but typically we like to purchase Fords, but Ford would not even give us a quote because they don't have inventory. So we were open to other manufacturers, and Chevy and Chevrolet were able to give us a quote, and they will be able to deliver this.
Okay. Are these replacing that tranche of Chevys that we bought in like 97?
They're actually Ford, but they're the
Mr. Dunn, can you please go to the microphone?
Okay.
Yes, it's the ones we were purchasing in the 90s, close to 300,000 miles, if not over, and many of them are CNGs. which are hard to get, as well the gas, the fuel is, so that will replace those.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions, folks? All right, if there's no further discussion, we'll entertain the motion. So all those in favor of the purchase of passenger buses and sport fleet vehicles as presented, please say aye.
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 All right, thank you. The motion carries. Next, we come to our information items, student activity and, wait a minute. Oh, there we go. Go ahead.
Mr. President, members of the board, the student activities, auxiliary operations, and tax credit reports for the months ending July of 2022 through February of 2023 are provided for your review.
All right, thank you. Now the roadmap, our next meeting is going to be on the 12th. We're going to look at a technology update and update on reimagining schools. And I think we may have those are 2 study sessions, right?
Yes, they are, Mr. President. They're 2 study sessions, and we did exchange the technology update because we know there's going to be a lot of agenda items coming up before the end of the year. So timely, we wanted to move that one up for you all as you can get a big picture as to where we're going with technology and the needs.
All right, thank you. Next, we come to our board member current events. Let's start down at the end of the table. Kurt, do you have anything new going on?
Yeah, I was able to have 2 school visits. One that I thought was extremely interesting at Chandler Early College. We actually have kids that are attending school on the Chandler Gilbert Community College campus. They're not dually enrolled like kids are in our schools. They're concurrently enrolled in the college. So they can be taking our high school classes and college classes right there on the college campus. CGCC has been very, very accommodating about providing space and cooperating and making sure that this happens. It would be great to see this program grow. I think it's a big draw for parents who want to start their kids early in college on a college campus. Second visit was at Castile High School with Principal Jason Phillips. I was there after hours, and a lot of the kids were out on the playing fields with their teams. But the one that was in the school, just about the only one, was the robotics team. And they were having a great time. Those kids were really, really engaged. It was just a fun thing to watch. So, very last thing is that I was in a meeting in the YMCA, which is right next door here, is starting a program called Water Watcher. And what they're trying to do is get parents to make a pledge to be a water watcher to keep kids safe around water. They're asking everybody to agree to actually watch all children, keep their eyes on the water, avoid distractions, and emergency pull the kid out of the water and call 911 right away and begin CPR. It's just heartbreaking when we lose a kid to drowning in a pool. It just is devastating, particularly little ones. So I think if we start being more careful, maybe we can avoid some of that. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Mrs. Serrano.
Yeah, just a reminder, some people may recall we received an invitation a couple of meetings ago here at our school board that the Arizona Students for Mental Health and Valley Interfaith Project, we have some members here tonight, thanks for joining us, are hosting the Civic Academy on mental health and the crisis facing youth and their families. That will be taking place, as they invited us last time, this coming Monday, March 13th from 6:30 to 8 o'clock, and that's at our local St. Matthew's Episcopal Church here in Chandler. So that invitation remains open. I hope to see some community members there. And a special note of gratitude for Make Way for Bucks, who we heard from tonight. I really admire their deep commitment to our Chandler community and early childhood initiatives. I love running into them, tabling at all of our local community events. They're doing really deep community work. And a special shout out for the person they quoted tonight, my friend Danielle Wilson, who is often working these tables and story time. It's a delight to see her engaging directly with families in such a genuine and fun way. So if you have little ones 0 through 5 in your households or through friends, I definitely do encourage you to look into Make Way for Bucks. And I'd like to wish everybody a good spring break. That's next week. As Superintendent Narducci said, the district remains open, so just keep that in mind for any urgent needs. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Mrs. Mostyn.
Yes, I noticed today that we have a new display of art masterpiece programs from Hancock Elementary. This is student artwork, and I want to say thank you to Hancock for bringing this to the district office and displaying it here. So if the public wants to come see it is displayed here in the district office and will probably be here at least till the end of the month.
All right, thank you. Mr. Worth, do you have anything today?
No comment, so.
All right. I wasn't here the last meeting. I was at meeting, well, I was on vacation. But I did go to a meeting, my wife's, one of my wife's suppliers, they had their winter meeting. And they had a keynote speaker, and his keynote address was on the differences between working with old people and young people. And he had a lot of interesting things to say, but one of the neatest things and most prescient things to us is that he commented that the generations that have come of age since the cell phone and internet has become big, for some reason we get sucked into our telephones, and that becomes, there's only so many people we can really care about and form relationships with. And when we think that we're having relationships with people online and it's not one-to-one, not in-person relationships, they're not as deep a relationships. And so that's one of the reasons, we have some of our differences between generations and some problems is because, those relationships that people have are, not really deep relationships like you would form with family members or coworkers. Kind of an interesting point. That's all I have for tonight. With that, I think we're done. So thank you for coming, everybody. Meeting adjourned.